You are listening to 600 Saga. Today's feature is a meditation by Mariah Avix. Yana sat at her small altar and concentrated on the photos in front of her. Her mind kept drifting. "Come on, Yana, get it together." She shook her head. A tree branch tapped on her window in the wind. Release the stress and tension of ordinary life. Let in the magical and the fantastical. I am part of the divinity. The divinity is part of me. Tap, tap, tap. Shut up! Tap, tap, tap. Tomorrow I am going to get an axe and chop you down. The large oak outside showed no signs of giving in. Yana took a deep breath. She needed to do a much better job of controlling her emotional states if she was going to make it to the next initiation. It was imperative. She needed a solid 20 minutes of meditation before she started to study for tonight. I need to be able to move past the tapping. The tree responded with more tapping. This is a test. I need to be able to focus despite the annoyances and frustrations of modern life. I can do it. I really can. The tree tapped again. Yana stormed over to the window and opened it and shoved the tree branch away. I'm just trying to find inner peace. Can't you leave me alone? It's not even that windy out. She breathed heavily and sat back down at her altar. I am part of the divinity, and the divinity is part of me. Yana and Selena laid out the picnic basket in the park. It had been a few months since the park had reopened, and since Yana had last heard from Heather. Each time she came by, she hoped to see Heather or some sign of her. I've been doing a ton of reading lately about Rosicrucianism. Selena pulled out a couple of books from her oversized purse and handed them to Yana, who tucked them into her backpack. They'd stopped by the food trucks that had popped up nearby this spring. Yana spread the spring rolls and tacos in front of her. Selena set down her pork sliders and mini donuts. We should have gotten something vaguely healthy. Yana smiled and picked up one of the tacos. Rosicrucianism is really interesting. I did a lot of research on it a few years ago, but it didn't connect with me. I can see how it might be a good match for you, though. Yana ate the fish taco with coleslaw. It was bright and summery. It tasted like summer was supposed to taste. Yana laid back on the blanket to soak up the sun. I do like the ritual. Selena ate the slider and then sighed. I wish I could be more like you, calm, centered, really deeply in touch with the magic that runs through the world. The things you've seen and done. I'm not always perfectly centered. Trust me, I keep having nights where I'm trying to meditate and do work toward my next initiation, but the littlest things keep distracting me. It's frustrating, and I need to do much better at finding ways to let go of the distractions of life. Yana sighed heavily. I swear there's a branch poking me under this blanket. She shifted uncomfortably until she managed to relax a bit. I have some great space clearing rituals that might be able to help you with that. Selena tossed a mini donut hole into the air and totally missed it. Yana watched it all the way down the gentle slope to the woodsy valley below. Yana walked along the path in the park, nodding to the joggers. It was too early to be up. She didn't know why she was up, other than that she hadn't been sleeping well for what seemed like forever. There was a small bench tucked away off the path, looking over what had been a spot that Heather used to landscape. I could really use a good, grounded friend right now. I miss you, Heather. I keep talking to you. You said if I showed up and hugged a tree, you'd be around. but you're not. Yana slumped into the park bench. You are the most oblivious person ever. There's a little girl who comes through the park who used to throw trash on the ground. A couple of times of tripping over her own trash made her start yelling at other people and picking up trash. She didn't even need to skin a knee to learn a lesson. You? I could break a window and you wouldn't notice. Heather, cracked brown skin, green hair, and leaves poking out from under the dirty green dress, sat down on the ground and dug her fingers into it. Heather? Yana leaned forward and reached out to touch her friend. I haven't seen you in months. Since, well, at your house. The cops tried to question me when you disappeared, but they didn't believe me that you'd become a dryad. I'm not sure I'd believe you if it hadn't happened to me, especially now. Seriously, I've come by your place and knocked and knocked. I've taken to tripping you to try and get you alone. You're either not alone or you're not interested in talking to me. Heather let out a dramatic breath and smiled as small little saplings grew up around the bench. Yana stalled and tried to think back. The window tapping during her meditations. The trees growing in her backyard. Her ability to actually keep plants alive now. A giant spike in clumsiness. She laughed and dropped down to the ground and hugged Heather. I've missed you so much, and I seriously need to work on my mindfulness. Actual magic slapping me in the face, and I can't see it. What else have I missed? Well, I'm not sure about the rest, but I've missed you, and I've been trying to reach out to you, but you've made it really hard. She sighed. I want to tell you about the trees. They all talk to me. I can hear everything if I listen. I've gotten pretty good at tuning it out, but it's really noisy. And the plants and the animals, too. It's strange. And Ray, he comes by a couple times a week. Yana stared at her friend. She knew it was true. She'd seen Heather transform into a tree, and transform her backyard into a jungle. Now, Heather was a real dryad, turning into a tree, making things grow in moments. Yana hugged her again and launched into telling her everything that had happened over the last few months. This was a meditation by Mariah Avix. Read more about Heather and her transformation in Oak Stream Hollow, now out in ebook and audiobook. Mariah Avix is the creator of Second Saga, a space for developing authors to explore the realms of science fiction and fantasy in 10 minutes or less every week. Mariah writes magical tales of how technology will change our world, and technologically laced tales of magic that probably isn't real. She is currently working on a series of novellas about shapeshifters who fight wildfires, a trilogy about a woman who refuses to admit that she has the M word, magic, and endless flash fiction. When she's not writing, she walks along the rivers and parks throughout her city looking for inspiration. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Saga.